All right, so get ready because today we are diving deep into, get this, one image.
One image.
One image. A single sketch of an elephant? Yeah, you heard that right. But before you click away thinking you've seen it all, I gotta tell you, this one is special. It's got layers, man. Layers. Plus, you sent over some pretty incredible analysis and commentary on it. So basically, we've got a roadmap to all the mind-bending stuff happening here.
Oh yeah, I did a deep dive for you guys for sure.
We're talking like art bumping up against imagination, all within the realm of reality. It's gonna get wild.
Wild. I love it. You know, the thing that like immediately grabbed me about this piece though is that tension it creates. You've got like this massive, massive super detailed elephant.
Huge elephant. I'm already seeing it.
But it's just like they're smack dab in the middle of this like completely normal, realistic landscape. That one choice, just putting those two things together, it's like, hold on, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, like this elephant is like 2 seconds away from stepping right out of the drawing and into my living room. Seriously. What is the artist doing to us? Why do they want to mess with reality like that?
I think what they're doing is inviting us to question what's real and what we imagine. You know, like our brains are always sorting, categorizing stuff.
Right, categorizing, labeling everything.
But this image, it throws all those rules right out the window. Like, is the elephant, is it coming into our reality, you know, from the artist's mind?
Yeah.
Or is it going the other way, fading back into the page? It's like a riddle, you see.
It's like catching an idea in the middle of, I don't know, like mid-flight.
I love that. Mid-flight, yeah.
Speaking of how this thing like came to be, the source material you sent mentioned all those incredible techniques that the artist used. You know, fine lines, cross-hatching, stippling, all that good stuff. It's like you can hear the pencil scratching on the paper. I don't know. I feel like I'm the only one who gets that.
No, absolutely. And you know what? Even though it's just black and white, those techniques, they create so much depth and volume. The elephant feels solid. Like I don't know, you could reach out and touch it.
So real.
It really shows like how a really skilled artist, you know, how they can trick our brains into seeing a whole world, like light, shadow, all of it, even without color.
It's like our brains fill in all the blanks. You know, we add our own layer of imagination on top of what the artist's already given us. But you know what I was thinking? It's not just about what's there, you know? It's also about what's left out.
Oh, okay. I like where you're going with this.
We're seeing that wireframe, you know, and the floating ink blots. It's like the artist is letting us peek behind the curtain a little bit.
Oh, yeah. They're pulling back the curtain.
What's up with that? What do you think?
You know, to me, it's raising the question of, like, is anything ever really finished? I mean, the creative process itself, right? It's always evolving, changing, always in motion.
Right, always moving.
So maybe those elements, the unfinished stuff, is kind of a way to show that. And it ties in perfectly, actually, with that title you mentioned, Unfinished or Perfect. Makes you wonder if real perfection is about completion or, you know, more about the journey itself.
Okay, whoa, that's deep, man. It's like the artist is saying, hey, come along with me for the ride. Let's explore this idea together. Which makes me think about the landscape itself. Why bother? Right, with all the detail. I mean, all the detail. Grasslands, the lone tree. I mean, why? When the whole point, the star of the show is this, like, fantastical elephant. Why ground this crazy image in, like, regular, everyday reality?
Okay, that is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe, and this is just a thought, but maybe it's because even the wildest ideas, you know, the really crazy ones, need a place to land.
A place to land, yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you take away the landscape, the elephant, it's just floating in space, right?
Right.
But by adding the background, giving it context, a place to be, it's like the artist is saying that even our imagination needs a connection to reality.
So it's like the landscape. The landscape is anchoring the elephant, giving it meaning, weight in the real world. It's almost like,
Yeah, almost like how our ideas, they got to like take root somewhere, you know, if we want to make them, you know, bring them to life. And speaking of bringing things to life, the source material you sent also mentioned some pretty big names, some, you know, heavy hitters in the art world, Escher, Miyazaki, Magritte.
So that's where things get really interesting for me. I mean, I definitely know a couple of those names, but I'm not sure all of our listeners would, you know all of them. Could you maybe like give us a quick intro to each one and how their style, their art might connect back to, you know, this elephant we've been talking about?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so first up, we got MC Escher. Maybe you recognize him. He's the guy behind all those like mind-bending, crazy optical illusions. His work, his whole thing is about like playing with perspective, you know, making you question like what you're actually seeing. And if you look at, you know, the way this elephant is put together, the construction of it, all those precise lines, the way, the wireframe kind of peeks through. I think you can definitely see some of that Escher influence there, that precision and playfulness.
So it's like, okay, it's like the artist is building this like really structured world using those lines, right?
Yeah.
But then the elephant itself, the elephant, it's like breaking free from it, like it's defying the rules or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. And then, okay, then we've got Hayao Miyazaki. Okay, so this guy, he's the mastermind behind Studio Ghibli, the animation studio that made, like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
And, his work, Miyazaki's, it's known for being like super fluid and expressive, full of these amazing, like fantastical creatures and worlds. And I think I see a little bit of that in the way this elephant's lines, like they seem to flow. Like they're moving. It's like it's about to like jump off the page and into one of those magical forests, one of Miyazaki's forests.
Now that you mention it, I can totally see that. Like those lines are about to wiggle around and come alive. And last but not least, we've got René Magritte. Now, this guy, he was all about surrealism, like taking regular everyday objects and twisting them, in ways that make you think, wait, what is real here? Think about, that famous painting of his, the pipe, with the caption underneath, this is not a pipe.
Yes, you know it. And I think, yeah, this elephant sketch definitely has a little bit of that Magritte mind game thing happening.
Yeah.
It's an elephant, but it's also like not an elephant. It's messing with like our expectations, making us think about how we define what's real and what's not.
Wow, it's amazing how the artist managed to like weave all those different influences together into one image. And you know what? There was this like 300-word deep dive that you included that really, I don't know, captured all of this. I don't want to read the whole thing, but there's some phrases that, I don't know, just stuck with me. Mesmerizing, tangible reality, blurred boundaries, like the words, the description itself, it's like it's its own work of art.
Isn't it? Yeah, the way it uses language, it mirrors how the image plays with like visual stuff. It emphasizes like all those contrasts, the tiny details of the elephant against the huge landscape. The way like the elephant seems to like appear out of nowhere from thought into reality.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like catching the creative process
Right.
in words.
It's pulling me into that place where, where reality and imagination, they bump up against each other.
Yeah, that in-between space. That's exactly it. And by using like words that evoke both like the concrete, real stuff and also the abstract, it really makes, the emotional impact of the piece even stronger. We're not just looking at a sketch on a piece of paper. We're like experiencing a moment of creation.
And that makes me think of you, the listener. What are your thoughts on all this? What details jumped out at you? Have you looked at art differently since seeing this image?
We'd love to hear from you. What's your like gut reaction to this sketch? What emotions does it stir up for you? Share your thoughts with us and let's keep this deep dive going.
Man, it's wild, isn't it? Like how much we can get out of just one image.
Really is. It just
Yeah.
goes to show like how powerful visual storytelling can be. Art's not just about like what we see, it's about how I don't know, how it makes us think, makes
Yeah.
us feel.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. What were the big ideas we uncovered today? We talked about that like tension, right? Between reality and imagination and how different, art techniques, they can bring up like different emotions in us. And we talked about, all the symbolism packed into the artists, the choices they made, how they put this thing together.
Oh, and let's not forget those, those art giants we were talking about. Escher, Miyazaki, Magritte, their styles add like another whole level to this thing. It's like I don't know, like a visual conversation across time, with different art styles.
Right. This elephant is like a greatest hits album of art history.
And it's a conversation that like keeps going in our heads, even after we've, seen the image. It sticks with you.
It really does. And that, that brings me to my final thought for all you listeners out there. Okay, so next time you come across any kind of art, I mean, anything, a painting, a sculpture, a movie, a song, heck, even like a really well-designed building, take a second, to look deeper, really look what story is it trying to tell you? What hidden meanings, might be hiding in there just waiting for you to find them.
And don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge yourself how you see things. Try to see things from different angles. The more you, I don't know, engage with art, the richer the experience,
It really is. Well, on that note, we are going to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for coming along with us on this journey into the world of, art and imagination. And hey, maybe this will inspire you. Get out there and create something of your own. You never know, what hidden depths you might find.